Want to learn the secret to my wildflower illustrations? They're really just squiggles, dots, and doodles. Hey friends, welcome. My name is Shayda Campbell, and on this channel we make art and it's fun, not scary. In today's tutorial, I'm all about showing you how simple floral illustration can really be. In fact, if you can doodle squiggles, dots, and hearts, you can draw flowers. So let's get started. If you can doodle dots, you can draw false indigo. This is one of my favorite blue wildflowers, and all you have to do to get started is draw a cluster of dots. So simple. Kind of make a cone shape. Then we're going to take a light green, and using the bullet end or just the tip of that brush, we do these really thin little lines joining together some of those dots. From there, you're just going to use that brush pen to your advantage to make these leaves, really natural shaped leaves. You kind of just run that pen across the page and see what kind of shape you get. Join them together with some little branches and voila, false indigo. If your dots, doodles, and drawings need a little extra help, this week on Patreon, I've released a really special coloring page. It just has the faintest lines, allowing you to practice your brush strokes, your clusters, your dots, and when you're done coloring, it'll look like you designed the entire thing. This is just one example of the enormous amount of bonus content that's now available for all of those supporting me on Patreon. To sign up, it's only $2 a month or $22 for the entire year. If you can doodle clusters, you can draw tansy. This also works well for yarrow and Queen Anne's lace. So take a yellow if you're drawing tansy, and you're going to do these little oval-shaped clusters of dots. I do about 4 or 5. Make some of them a little smaller, some larger. And then you're going to take that tiny bullet end again of the light green and join them together with little semicircles of lines. And then I'm sure you can see where this is going. Then we're going to join all those little semicircles of lines together with some longer stems until we have one point. Then I like to flip that marker over and make a slightly thicker final stem. And then I'll do a couple small leaves, and then moving down that stem, we'll do a few larger leaves. And they're all made up of these tiny little brush marks. It's so simple, and it gives this wonderful wildflowery look, perfect for yarrow, tansy, and Queen Anne's lace. If you can doodle a circle, you can draw clover. Using a light burgundy or a light pink, you're going to start by sketching a circle or oval and then doing some little lines on the edges of the circle. From there, we'll grab that green brush pen and we're going to do some brush marks, just some small oval shapes at the base of that circle. Then we'll join those two together with 2 curving stems, and if you like, you can add a few more shaggy, sort of circular leaves. Now this one likes a little bit of shading, so grab a darker color. Since I use burgundy, I'm going with purple, and I'm just doing some thin lines to help give the clover its fuzzy look and to help with a bit of shading. I'll also go in with a darker green brush pen and just put a little bit of shading on those leaves and stems. If you can doodle ovals, you can draw snowdrops. This is a fun one to draw. You're going to doodle a cluster of 3 ovals, and you can repeat that as many times as you like. I've done 3. Then using green, draw a rounded triangle at the top of each. From there, we'll sketch in these cane-shaped stems that kind of droop over top of the flower. And after that, you just need a few long, thin leaves. So I just like to run that brush across the paper, maybe come in with a darker green to do a little bit of shading just on one side of that triangular part, a few lines on the leaves. And then I actually don't hate bringing that green leaf right up against the white snowdrop. It really helps the white flower to pop off that page. If you can doodle squiggles, you can draw an iris. Start with one funny little squiggle, sort of an heart shape, upside down heart. Do 2 more on the sides, 2 line squiggles, and then a couple more up top. That's your iris blossom. And yours does not have to look the exact same as mine. If you're drawing a bunch of them, they don't all have to look the same. I went in with my green, did a thick curving stem and a couple long brush marks for the leaves. Then since I did a purple iris, I went back in with a darker purple, did some shading near the center, and then added long thin lines for coloration on the flower. Next up, if you can doodle hearts, you can draw this sweet little wildflower. I'm taking a peach-colored marker, although any color would work well, and I'm doodling clusters of hearts Some of them are not as heart-shaped as others, and that's fine. Then we'll take that light green, use the bullet tip if it's easier. It gives you a ton of precision, and we're going to join all the hearts with thin lines that come to a point. And you can do a little V shape at the base of each heart as well. Now, this actually is not a known flower, okay? This is just a flower that I like to draw in my journal because it's so sweet and delicate. But if you think it looks like a flower, please comment below and let me know, because that would just be so great if I could actually attach this to a real flower. If you can doodle teardrops, you can draw fireweed. Using a magenta brush pen, start with a thin line, and then you're going to use that brush pen to make these teardrop shaped marks. Think ovals, long ovals that start really thin and get larger as you move away from the line. Then we're going to come down and do this big cluster of messy marks and ovals and splotches. And then come in with your light green, continue the stem, and add some long thin leaves. If you can doodle a starburst, you can draw chicory. So I am starting in light purple and I'm just doodling a messy starburst. Don't overthink this one. I probably did a little too much thinking there. Then we'll take a blue and we are going to layer that blue on top of the purple brush pen to give us more of like a periwinkle blue color, and just do that light lines of a starburst again. And then we want to take our green and we're going to join those two flowers together with thin, very straight lines that kind of make a Y. And then the leaves are just like very small round brush marks. So just let that brush pen kind of hit the page and remove it right away. And that gives us chicory. And finally, if you can doodle flowers, you can draw a buttercup. Okay, that one's kind of funny, but the buttercup is made up by doodling that classic flower, the flower you draw when you're a kid. Start with a little circle in the center and then come around and draw 4 or 5 petals. So simple. Do a couple dots at the center and that's it. You've got a cute little buttercup. You can also draw some ovals or messy brush marks to make like some little bud shapes. And then we're going to come in with our light green and join all those buds and flowers together. Use thin, slightly curved lines for the buttercup branches and do a few rounded leaves if you like. And then for this one, I decided to use my dark green, go over the stems and add just a bit of shading on some of those leaves. That was so fun. 9 little wildflowers, 8 of them real, based in the real world, all made from doodles, simple doodles like hearts, ovals, clusters, teardrops, squiggles, stuff that hopefully you feel comfortable drawing. And if you don't feel comfortable, try to really tap into that inner child, that kid that would just be like, I can draw a squiggle, and you'll have the cutest, funniest little irises, and you'll have so much fun doing it. I added a little bit of washi tape to the left-hand page here. I gave my artwork a title, Scribble Flowers, and then I just tidied up a few things. I thought the snowdrops needed like a bit of a darker gray to really make them pop, and yeah, then I was all done. Thanks for hanging out today, friends. Don't forget, if you're a patron, you can get the coloring page that will help you with all of these floral shapes that kind of guides you into squiggling and drawing them yourself. Head over to patreon.com/Shayda Campbell and become a member for just $2 a month or $22 for the year.